Yes, all right, the lads. Welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy, and finally, the live stream is here on your screens. It's a late one. It's a late one. Rarely do this. I was planning to do a late live stream, maybe on deadline day, maybe. But we're gonna speak about the massive 30,000 subscribers. That we are a big family growing. Thanks everybody. We are gonna speak about that and the journey, the little journey that we are actually, moving with. But also, we're gonna dive into this Arsenal side because if Chelsea are targeting Haaland and Arsenal are targeting Tammy Abraham, I think there is a problem somewhere. What are ambitions? I talked about this in the last, in the last upload. I don't have a problem with Tammy Abraham, but my question is, if Chelsea are looking to bring in Erling Haaland, then why do we go for Tammy Abraham? What does that mean for Arsenal and their ambitions as a club? Do smash a like on the video. Do subscribe to the channel. Let's get the party started. Right then, lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast with your boy Cossy, and a massive thank you, people. If you've seen the subscriber count very well, you must have noticed that there is a big change from a 2 to a 3. Now, I'm gonna tell you some little story before we dive into what I want to talk about, because on this one, on this show, I want to dive into Arsenal's ambitions for top 6, Arsenal's ambitions for top 4, and maybe to win the title. Do we actually reflect what we want to achieve in the way we are doing things? I will speak about Tammy Abraham, and for me, that is the cornerstone. That is the point of focus. If Chelsea want to give us Tammy Abraham and they want to sign Erling Haaland, what exactly does that mean for Arsenal as a club? If you have consistently signed David Luiz, Willian, and a couple of deadwood players from Chelsea, it's like we are taking the second option. We're taking the rejects from Chelsea. It's not the first time. We've taken players like Sylvester from Manchester United as well. What exactly are Arsenal's ambitions? But before we do that, let me just tell you a simple story. So about 2 years ago, in 2019, I opened up this channel, and to be funny enough, it wasn't only Arsenal. It was more of Arsenal and Manchester United, because in my area, those are the two clubs that are really supported, and many people think, by the way, this channel was a Manchester United fan channel. It wasn't a Manchester United fan channel, though it was dominated by Manchester United news in the beginning. It was never a Manchester United fan channel. So, the journey began way back in 2019. I didn't expect that we will get here. And I had a brother, by that time, he had around 32,000 subscribers. I still remember. And I had less than 1,000 subscribers. And what he did is, I had around 700 subscribers. So what he did, he came and got a pen and wrote K. Obviously, trying to mean that, put a K so that you can actually have 700K. But I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the support showed to me by all the people around me. It's been massive, and you guys have been massive as well. So thanks everybody. It's not the end, but it is amazing. It's absolutely amazing that we have achieved this as a family, in the shortest time, in the shortest period of time. So whoever is part of this journey and whoever has been part of this journey, my brothers, you guys at the community, and the well wishers and people who have always commented shit in my comments, because they increase the engagement as well. I want to say a special thank you to you. And now let's dive into Arsenal, because today I felt a little bit disgusted. And if you watched the last video I put out, it wasn't really positive. It wasn't so positive. And this is the reason. So I thought about it. I sat down and I thought about it as an Arsenal fan. When United signed Rafael Varane and Jadon Sancho, when they signed Varane actually this week, I think it was yesterday, I thought about the competition that Arsenal could actually face if we were going to go back to the top six. Because for 2 consecutive seasons, we have actually finished 8th. The season that brought Mikel Arteta and the season that told us what Mikel Arteta is all about. 8th consecutively. And maybe that's not the point. But the point is, where do Arsenal's ambitions lie? Not only in the transfer window, but for me, because it at the end of the day, the results are on the page. The results are on that 20 list Premier League table. That is where you have the results. That is where the results are. So where do we want to finish as a club? That's what I'm going to talk about. I'm a little bit unfortunate because in 2004, when Arsenal last won a Premier League trophy, I can't say I did understand football the way I understand it now. I didn't have the passion I have now. I was a little bit young. I did love Arsenal, and I like the likes of the likes of Patrick Vieira, the likes of Thierry Henry, the likes of Freddie Ljungberg, and a couple of other players that we had at the moment. And I did understand that those were our players. But 20 years later, if you still ask me, do I understand this team more than I understood in 2004? I think it's a lie. I think I understood Arsenal more in 2004 than I understand it now. Because in 2004, it was all about, we are a winning club. That is all. And we were a winning club. We had the best striker in the league. We had the best midfielder in the league. We had one of the best goalkeepers in the league. We had the best number 10 in the league. We were absolutely on it. We were absolutely spot on. 20 years later, things have changed. Of course, it goes hand in hand with the Cronkies. It goes hand in hand with the Cronkies, and we'll dive into the Cronkies for some time. But there's a big question. Why is Chelsea focusing on Erling Haaland and Romelu Lukaku? If you check the statistics of Erling Haaland, he almost scores a goal per 90. Tammy Abraham doesn't do that. Tammy Abraham doesn't give you that, really. If you look at the statistics of Romelu Lukaku at Inter Milan, it's hilarious. These guys are absolutely so good. Romelu Lukaku can win you a title with 30 goals in a campaign. Erling Haaland can win you a title with 28 or 30 goals in a campaign as well. Can Tammy Abraham actually win you a title? I don't think he can. I don't think he can. And this is where now we draw the comparison. Because at times we get so much into it, and we love the club and we're so deluded. And when we sign Tammy, we celebrate. But is it a reason? Is it a real reason for Arsenal to celebrate by signing in Tammy Abraham? Why are we interested in Tammy Abraham of all players on the market? Yes, it could be for financial reasons. It could be for financial problems. You do understand that because Arsenal has always been, in that financial mud for the past 15 years. Ever since Kroenke took over, it's even worse. But again, we've seen clubs like Leicester City sign the likes of Patch and Daka. We've seen Dortmund sign Erling Haaland from Red Bull Salzburg. We've competed with the likes of RB Leipzig. Leipzig are title challengers in Germany. We've been fighting with them for the likes of Dominik Szoboszlai and we lost those transfers. So Tammy Abraham joining Arsenal, if you put it in easily, if you put it easily, he could play for any club. He could play for Chelsea. He could play for United. He could play for Liverpool. He could play for City. But the question is, what exactly are you getting from him? And what does that mean for you and the competition around you? City want Harry Kane. Like I say, Chelsea want Haaland or Lukaku or Robert Lewandowski. If you look at Liverpool and the quality of players they are signing, it looks like we are far behind. It looks like, despite because United have signed Rafael Varane. I don't want to compare the two players, and I will never compare the two players, Rafael Varane and Ben White, despite the fact that there's a huge debate. But again, if you ask me who made the right decision, United, because Rafael Varane makes you an instant title challenger. That's what he does. He makes you an instant title challenger. Ben White could be a very good investment. Very good. Maybe he could actually prove to be the good long-term investment plan or things like that. People who do understand a lot of business. But in football, United have signed in Rafael Varane for £41 million from Real Madrid. He's been playing next to Sergio Ramos. He's one of the best centre-backs in the world, one of the best 5, and they're bringing him to play with one of the best centre-backs in Europe as well, with in Harry Maguire. It's there is something that's lacking at Arsenal. If you look at the kind of signings we made from Chelsea, Tammy Abraham, Willian, Peter Cech, and David Lowe. If you ask me, how many of those players have been in their prime? Peter Cech was in his evening. Willian finished. David Lowe in his evening. Tammy Abraham is lost. So that means we do not have the capacity to go for an Eden Hazard from Chelsea. We can't go for a Christian Pulisic from Chelsea. We can't sign in a Jorginho from Chelsea. We can't sign in N'Golo Kante from Chelsea. That is what it means. But remember, if Chelsea wanted, if Chelsea came to Arsenal, they wouldn't come for Rob Holding. They wouldn't come for Alexander Lacazette. If they came seriously for business, they can buy Thomas Partey. They can come with £60 million for Thomas Partey, and that shows you the level of ambition, how ambitious Chelsea are. In terms of how they do things. They're trying to sign in Achraf Hakimi, 70 million euros. We were the first club in this summer to be linked with Achraf Hakimi. And everyone said, you know what, that is never going to happen. They can't buy it right back at 70 million euros. Yes, they want the player. They're interested, but they just can't do it. And we accepted. And he went to PSG. If you look at United, how many players have we signed from United? Danny Welbeck. What is the difference between Danny Welbeck and Tammy Abraham? Danny Welbeck, 23 million pounds. Is it that? Or 18? 23 million euros? What is the difference between signing Danny Welbeck and Tammy Abraham? What is the real difference between signing Sylvester from Manchester United and Stefan Lichtsteiner? What is the real difference? I'm still looking at the way we've been doing things before, because many people are saying, Cossy, Arsenal is having a rebuild and we are having a complete change of things. Yes, maybe, but is it really a complete change of things? So for me, guys, look, Tammy Abraham could be. I think he's a West Ham kind of player. If you give him to West Ham, they would be absolutely grateful. Absolutely grateful. And because we've become this kind of meetable side, I've not had any Arsenal fan ask me, can we win the league, Cossy? No one has asked me that. Our ambitions have actually fallen slightly behind top four now. And what's going to be, because I told you in the Premier League, unlike other leagues, you have a couple of trophies within the league. The top two, you have the person who wins the trophy, that one is a champion. The first, the club that finishes second is a champion, in their own way. Now, top four, making it to top four is another trophy. Going to the Europa League through the league, that is fifth and sixth, I think, is another trophy as well. So it looks like we are competing for the last tier of the trophy. Because we've got, and many people will tell me, because we've gone back to Europe, we've gone back to Europa League. Mikel Arteta has done something, or maybe there is progress. But at the moment, I don't see any progress. It's because look, if Arsenal, we've not even thought about Erling Haaland, not even, and that has been here for the past now 7-8 years. When there is a good player on the market, Paul Pogba shining at Juventus, Arsenal are not contenders. When you have Paulo Dybala, Arsenal are not contenders. It's been here. It's been now a DNA for the past 8 years, and now it's being reflected when we want Tammy Abraham. Tammy Abraham is not going to win you a league, people. It's the same thing when we had Olivier Giroud. Giroud was a good player, but he was never going to win a league. Giroud was comfortable with 15 goals. Giroud was comfortable with 17 goals in a season. He was comfortable when he scored in the 7th minute and closed the shop. Olivier Giroud was comfortable, in that way. I don't think Tammy Abraham is going to score you hat-tricks and hat-tricks and hat-tricks. I don't see that happen, really. I absolutely don't see that happen. So the big question now, people, and I'd love you to get involved, is how serious is this Arsenal side, and what are our goals? In your eyes, what are Arsenal's expectations, and what are our goals? Do you think maybe? Do you think we have accepted our fate? No longer part of the big four. No longer part of top four. Our fate is top 6, top 7. I was watching the kickoff. I think yesterday it was an uploaded clip, and I think it was True Jordy, and he said what Arsenal have actually done is they have stopped aiming at the stars. They have stopped aiming at the moon, and now they're like, if we can hit a cloud. And when your expectations, when your ambitions fall, because wise men think like, say you'd rather aim at the ego and you hit the rock rather than hitting aiming at the rock, and then you don't hit anything. So it looks like even before Arsene Wenger left the podium, our ambitions had actually died. 3 or 4 good years when Arsenal finished consecutively 4th, we were the giants of we were the giants of that 4th spot, and everybody was comfortable. But qualifying for Champions League through 4th, and then conceding 10 goals against Bayern, how does that make you any better? How does that make you a big club? How does that make any sense? Honestly, without Arsene Wenger was the problem. Brought in Unai Emery, there was no difference. We conceded lots and lots of goals in a final against Chelsea. Lots and lots of goals. That was the most embarrassing final I've ever seen in my life. I don't remember it was a final. I don't even remember it was a final. And now under Mikel Arteta, we have a manager that doesn't have the pedigree, doesn't have the experience, doesn't have the respect. So no player is gonna say, I wanna go play for Mikel Arteta. No one. After that, we have a technical director who is Edu, who I don't believe in so much. And now our targets have started. We've started falling off the radar. If you still remember when we were starting the window, we wanted Odsonne-Edouard. Odsonne-Edouard has a higher ceiling than Tammy Abraham. Honestly, a higher ceiling. Forget the £40 million that Chelsea want in Tammy Abraham. That is a smoke screen. That it doesn't show how good Tammy Abraham is. Because if he's good enough, we should be at the same level as Chelsea. If he's good enough, they should be playing him game week in, week in and week out. The reason that's why they're not playing him is not good enough. And if you bring him at Arsenal, it only shows you that You know what? You're below Chelsea. You could use Tammy Abraham and finish 6th. Well, you will not give us a lot of trouble because we are fighting for top 3 with Leicester City, or top 4 or top 3 with Liverpool, or top 3 with with Manchester United. And then it also brings out the fact that if Arsenal do not compete favorably for top 6 for a 3rd consecutive season, maybe we are going to become officially mid-table. I don't think we're officially mid-table. I think because we finished 6 points behind top 4, but that is how it that is how it begins. Absolutely. That is how it begins. That is how we fell out of top 4. That is how it began. The story of Arsenal falling out of top 4. If you've been following this club for 5 years or 6 years or 7 years, you know it. We were so comfortable. We named. I think the name Big Four means us, because what we wanted as Arsenal fans is to try to justify that our presence. So we created what we call the Big Four. Yeah, Arsenal is part of the Big Four. Great. Arsenal is part of the Big Four. Great. Absolutely great. But again, does Big Four make any sense? Do you want to be part of the Big Four, or do we want to be part of the top 4? It's different, because top 4, you're finishing in that lane, season in, season out. Liverpool is there now. City is there. I think United are coming back. But I think Chelsea, City, and Liverpool are there, top 4. They have a spot in there. It's like it's subscribed, and you would expect that. You would have expected the more the league becomes harder, the more the league becomes competitive. Arsenal's way of doing things also changes. But it's so different. It looks like our comfort zone is the same. It seems like we are comfortable. We are still comfortable. Let's go to Montpellier. They have a player who has scored 21 goals in a season, and they miraculously won the league. Let's go and bring in that guy with Lucas Podolski. Yes, they were good players, but they're not title contenders. They don't make you title contenders. If you ask me, in the Arsenal side, how many players are title contenders? How many players do make us title contenders? I think Aubameyang does if he gets back to his level. I think Partey does if he gets back to his level. And can't see any. 3 of them. So you have 3 players, in my opinion, only 3 of them. If we were gonna win the title, you trash everyone else. Sorry for the likes of Saka. Sorry for the likes of Smith. Well, they can be good squad players. But the moment the club is riding on the back of a 19-year-old player, I think it speaks volumes. It absolutely speaks volumes. If you look at the rate and speed at which we are moving out our dead wood, it speaks volumes. And now we have, back in the mix is Tammy Abraham, not as a player, but the quality. Where does the signing, and this is a question I always ask myself, where does the signing of Tammy Abraham lead Arsenal? Top 4? No. Top 5? Maybe. So if you sign in Tammy Abraham, 5-year contract, and players like Tammy Abraham, 5 years, those are 5 years aiming at top 5. What? After Tammy Abraham, after 5 years of Tammy Abraham, who knows? Who knows what the world will bring? So I've been asked this question many times. Would you want Tammy Abraham at Arsenal? I think I would do something very different. I don't know why we didn't try to get Patson Daka. I don't know why we didn't try to get Hudson Edward. I think those players have a better ceiling than Tammy Abraham. Forget the money. 40 million. Many Arsenal fans, when they hear a player is 40 million, they're like, yes, Arsenal is going for a big signing. It's not all about that. For me, it's what the player adds, what kind of value, what amount of value. Tammy could be as well another expensive Danny Welbeck. I was listening to, I think I was watching Laurie Jennings, yesterday, I think today or yesterday, and he was saying Tammy Abraham would work for Arsenal. And I'm like, you joke. You joke too much, Rory, because Rory is a Chelsea fan, and he knows Tammy Abraham out of Chelsea works for him, and he says, you know what, Tammy could work for Arsenal because they have, because and Rory is one of my best football analysts, if not the best at the moment. Now I think James Alcott is my best, but then Rory comes next. So if you think about a Chelsea fan saying we can't use Tammy Abraham, but we could use the money Arsenal gave us, it only shows you that Chelsea fans no longer feel like Arsenal is a big club. No longer feel like Arsenal is their rival. Yes, the rivalry will never go away because of the city and how the cities are shared, and the geography. But what is dying is the spirit of competitiveness. I want to play Chelsea when they have Haaland and I have Tammy Abraham, and we got Tammy Abraham from loan, on loan from Chelsea. It's like someone gives you weapons, weaker weapons, because they have got advanced weapons, and then they fight you. It's not the same weight. It's absolutely not the same weight. And at the moment we are not. If it's wrestling, if it is boxing, we are not in the same weight with these clubs. We are absolutely not in the same weight with these clubs. That's the first thing we've got to agree on. And we are diminishing as they become stronger. The disadvantages are quite understandable. Arsenal's money, maybe. We do not have the money. We do not have the funds to compete with Manchester City because they can buy 88 million Jack Grealish. They can't. They can buy a Hurricane. They can put a price tag that is ridiculous on his head, and they could actually hunt him in. But how about the mismanagement? How about how are we mismanaged to an extent that we are a big club? We are now a small club. Big rivals are looking at us as Arsenal is isn't a big club anymore. 7 years ago, 8 years ago, when we brought in the likes of Samuel Nasri, that guy was a £1 million signing, and I'll never forget that. And he scored on his debut, and that was the beginning, and it was never the end. He scored so many goals for Arsenal. He did so many brilliant things. The likes of Cesc Fabregas. Where did that Arsenal go? I mean, you were afraid of them. And I felt very, very comfortable no matter which club we played against. Until the time when we played Yes or No Go and justified that Yes or No Go was good enough. When we played Manuel Frimpong, and we're like, Frimpong could become a very good player. I think Frimpong is good enough. When we consistently played the likes of Nicolas Penna, and then we started bringing the likes of Olivier Giroud. With all respect, Giroud was a good player. But if you ask me, people, was Giroud a symbol of progress? Was signing Olivier Giroud a symbol of progress? Never was it. It was never. And now we want Tammy Abraham. I would like to get in your thoughts on what you think about the ambitions of this club, because it's interesting. It would be absolutely so interesting to see what you people think about, the ambitions of Arsenal Football Club. Very, very interesting, right? Where are we coming from, and where are we going before we enter the new season? Because the season is starting in 3 weeks. We're beginning the season with Brentford, and as usual, Arsenal fans, our blood is boiling. We feel like we can't wait to see the new season. But what exactly are we going to see in the new season? What haven't we seen? What is new that we are going to see in the new season that we have we've actually not seen? Do smash a like on the video, people. Thank you so much. That really means a lot. So, in my opinion, people, Tammy Abraham shouldn't be joining Arsenal, and Arsenal shouldn't be thinking about Tammy Abraham. Today, we've been linked with Lautaro Martinez, and what hurts me is when I see these stories, and I share them probably in an Arsenal group, 90% of Arsenal fans will be like, "Cause we can't sign this guy." And what is even them hurting is it's true. We can't sign Lautaro Martinez. He has a release clause of 111 million euros. And the reports are like, you know what? Inter could be like, okay, we could get some 90 million euros. But if it was Chelsea linked with Lautaro Martinez, it would be very, very different situation. It would be like, Chelsea are bringing in Lautaro Martinez, we are dead. But everyone is like, oh, Arsenal is admiring Lautaro Martinez. They don't have the money to do that. Probably they should, they should look, somewhere else. And that is how the club stands. That is my opinion with this World Club. I think our ambitions are so low. As fans, I think we want the club to do well, but the club is not on that track. It's not on that line. Absolutely not on that line. If Chelsea are signing Jules Koundé, I think they'll spend around 60 million euros. That's what I think. That's what I reckon. 60 million is Jules Koundé. What exactly does Koundé bring to Chelsea? A massive upgrade in their backline. I think Ben White gives us that as well. But he only gives that because Ben White is a mess in Arsenal because of the quality we have. Just imagine if we had, if we were the ones that had Wesley Fofana, and we were contemplating about signing in Ben White, there would be some question because you have Rob Holding, everybody's like, what an upgrade! Arsenal could become title contenders. Not really. He doesn't make us title contenders. He's just too good, to be compared with the players we have. That is it. Absolutely. That's it. This much like on the video, people. Those are my, honest opinions on our club, and I don't really mean to attack anyone or the club as well. Good evening, Cossy. Good evening to you, my man, Glenn. Thanks everybody for that 30,000 mark. It's absolutely so good. Good evening, Cossy. How are you doing, Anu? There are new reports of Curry for Lautaro. It makes sense because they need Hector but can't afford asking price despite the sales made from Ashraf Hakimi. It's what I've been speaking about. That yes, there are reports, there are links from Lautaro Martinez, and I did that story. I don't think they will sell Lautaro Martinez. I don't think. I think Inter want to keep their best players so that they can actually compete maybe for another season before letting go of their best talent. But Arsenal cannot afford. I mean, the first thing we said when we were linked with Grealish, because we do not have the money. Grealish is 90 million euros as the same price for Lautaro Martinez. Yeah, it makes sense because if you bring in Lautaro Martinez, he's absolutely giving you another elevation. He's taking you to another level. But do we have the capacity? Can we even try? I don't think. It would be a miracle, an absolute miracle if Arsenal, decided to bring in Lautaro Martinez. So I don't see that happen, my bro. But Haaland won't come to Arsenal without Champions League. Cossy, and that is what I'm saying. That is what I'm saying. What we have to ask ourselves is, for 20 consecutive years, we played in the Champions League, right? Why aren't we in the Champions League no more? For 5 consecutive years, we played in the Europa League. Why aren't we in the Europa League no more? We're not even in the UEFA Congress League. Is it called the Congress League? Where Spurs wanted to go. We're not even there. So the question is, how did we get here? And why are we so comfortable? That's what I'm saying. Look, if we had Champions League and we were trying to sign Erling Haaland from Salzburg, it would have been easier. But if we cannot sign a player from Red Bull Salzburg because we do not have Champions League, you've got to be scared. If you're not scared right now, you've got to be scared. Absolutely. I don't think Arsenal have anything to offer. Lautaro will be a game changer. He would be. Will he join Arsenal? No. Arsenal support Arsenal is supposed to win a title. I don't think we are at that level anymore. Seriously, Arsenal need a good what? Oh, a good football loving owner. Yeah, I mean that is also part of it. I think it's 100% part of it. The owners that we have, the management, and I think it justifies the reason as to why we are stupidly managed. It justifies that, because the moment you have an owner who cannot understand how a club is run and why you run so badly. Look at Barcelona. A decade. It's not even 2 decades when Barcelona were okay. They were absolutely fine. And where are they now? And Arsenal, we are almost in the same. We are almost in the same space. The only thing we have is we are mismanaged. We are mismanaged, but it is hidden. It is hidden underground. Everybody thinks, Arsenal will come back. There is that optimism. Arsenal will come back. But it looks like the optimism, the hope, is also dying. Hopefully, I will get someone. I will need to get in someone who's older than me, someone who's around 50 years. 50 years. And I think I'm looking about someone like Lee Judges. I think I will think about a person like Lee Judges. I'm so tired of this, present Arsenal. I swear we need to wake up. But look, and that is the frightening part. It's like when you're drowning. It's like when you're drowning, and you realize you're drowning in the middle of the sea. No strings attached. There is nowhere you can run. I think that's where we are. That's where we are. We are being promised a lot of rebuilds. But for me, if you bring in 1 or 2 players at the moment, we're going to compete with Leicester City and West Ham and Southampton. 2 players do not make us, City competitors. They even don't make us Chelsea competitors. They don't. Chelsea almost have a full 11 aside, with Manchester City as well. A full 11 aside, because Pulisic is not a regular. Ziyech could be, could be on the bench as well. And you're asking yourself, that is this guy, Rhys James. They almost have 2 players per position. We can't even have 1 good player per position. That's the problem with Arsenal. Absolutely. Abraham, no. We need Martinez in Arsenal. I'm not really gonna speak about Martinez optimistically. I'm not gonna say that. Arsenal, because I'm tired with this Arsenal new everyday news. Look, I mean, you're new to the club. If you're here, if you were here under the Arsene Wenger era, when we're linked with the likes of Karim Benzema and Gonzalo Higuain, in a summer where we only signed a goalkeeper, but we are so closely linked with Gonzalo Higuain, flying to London, medical on, blah blah blah. I wasn't a content creator by then. I was only following, and it's ridiculous. I still remember I was coming from class, and there was a note spot. It was so rare that our note spot was could get updated in my school. But on that weekend, someone did us a favor and updated the note spot and actually put up Gonzalo Higuain heading to Arsenal. Deal closed. I was so happy. I was the happiest man. By that time, we wanted to sign him from Real Madrid before he crossed over to Juve. Is it Juve or Napoli? I think Napoli by the time. Did he first cross over to Napoli? Yeah, he crossed over to Napoli, then to Juve. So I was so happy. I wanted to fly. And we always had these Manchester United versus Arsenal debates, and that's why this channel actually started like that. So we always had these Manchester United Arsenal debates, and you could not speak because Arsenal signing Gonzalo Higuain, that was massive. The guy never landed. The same thing with Benzema. How long have we been linked with Gonzalo with Karim Benzema? How, I think all the time, when Arsene Wenger was manager, Karim Benzema was always coming to Arsenal. It never happened. We're linked with the likes of Di Maria. So, Arsenal links and Arsenal transfer news is not true. Unless it's not true. I mean, it's not new, sorry. It's not new. Arsenal equals pain. This is my man, Glenn. With this kind of players we have, we can't win the league. And first of all, making it to the top four is also going to be a tug of war for us. We need experienced and ambitious players to win us titles. Arsenal is frustrating, right? What players do you think, Cossy, would help and would actually come to Arsenal? It's a big question, though. It's a big question. Help me, people. Smart like button. Let's get them to 100. Thank you so much. Help me, smart like button. Let's get them to 100. That should be our target. So, it's a brilliant question. Which players would help us and would actually come? Because actually, that's a perfect question. That's one of the perfect questions I've received on my on this podcast for months. At the moment, when we are not anywhere when we are not represented anywhere in Europe, it's frightening. It's absolutely frightening. It's a nightmare to think about good signings, because whoever you think about, they will reject you. It's like it's like Spurs looking for a manager. You don't want to become like that, do you? So honestly, which kind of players do we want? I think we need experienced players. It doesn't matter the age. If you bring in a player in the age bracket of 23 to 28 or 29 years of age, those are the kind of players we need. Specifically, if you went for for the midfield, I think you would sign in a player like Ruben Neves, perfect for the Premier League, played in the Premier League, very young, his ceiling is still on, would love to join Arsenal, despite the fact that you do not have Champions League. Are we willing to pay that price? I'm not really sure about that. I think Maddison, because what I told you about James Maddison is, and look, we are always linked with the right players, and we end up signing the wrong ones. Maddison is another good one, because for Maddison, I was watching the kickoff, and Ross said something very interesting to True Jordy, and he said, you know what? I think Maddison leaving Leicester City to join Arsenal, he would be absolutely mad. And that statement comes from a person who's watched Arsenal for more than 20 years. And that statement has a lot of sincerity, and that statement has a lot of sense. Because, look, if you brought in Maddison, the good thing you have is what you own. I mean, what you're offering Maddison is you play. We are giving you a chance to play with a legendary club with a lot of heritage. That is all. Leicester City at the moment are giving him Champions League football. Sorry, Europa League football. They're giving him that. They're giving him. They'll give him the money he wants, and more and more. So, the players that we need, we are linked with. That is the truth. The players that we need, we are linked with. But we will never go for them. Absolutely. We will never go for them. This club needs around 9 signings to win the league. Are we going to do 9 signings to win the league? Arsenal? No, I don't think. Even if we do it, seldom. Next summer, I think we will need to go for a new striker. Since we signed in Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, if we had built a good midfield and a good defense, we would have a title there. Last season, but one, we would have won a title with the goals of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang if we had a good midfield. But our midfield is absolutely empty, absolutely empty, and that's the problem with Arsenal. When we fix the midfield now the striking line is dead. And look, many people think like if we fix the midfield, Cossy, we will actually get in. It's not gonna. We'll actually get in strikers next summer. That's not how things are gonna work. Arsenal, you'll be shocked that Arsenal will sign in no striker in the next summer. For the next 2 years, you struggle with this. You struggle with, because it has happened before. When we lost the title to Leicester City, we needed a striker. We created chances. We needed a striker. Someone who was just clinical. Get someone on loan and you win the title. It never happened. The rest is history. Leicester City were champions that year. So, are we going to get in the right players? I don't think. I really don't think. If Liverpool signed Jota without competition, if Manchester United signed Donny van der Beek without competition, what are we doing in the windows? That's the question. If Mohamed El-Neni has played for this football club for, someone tell me, how long has Mohamed El-Neni been at Arsenal? 5 years? It's crazy, isn't it? Really crazy. And last season he's played. He featured in 26 games for the club, and he looks set to stay. Absolutely. It's painful that my team is no longer the ambitious team it was. It's a pain to watch this club. Absolutely. Abraham is not the kind of player we need. I actually miss the elegant and exciting football we used to play, and I think that is one of the things we've actually lost as a club. That is one of the things we have actually lost. Honestly speaking, it's one of the things we've lost as a club. You've lost your identity. You've lost the winning mentality. You've lost the fun. You've lost absolutely everything. I was watching. It was £9 to watch Arsenal play against Hibernian and Rangers. So that's around £20 combined. And it's like, what are we even watching? Why there is no longer value for money. Yeah, you could go out there, buy this Arsenal jersey and put it on. And it looks smart, by the way, because it's a little bit new, so it has the colors brighter. But why do I risk to buy Arsenal merchandise? One of my best goals, as an Arsenal fan, is that 1-2 goal we scored, with Jack Wilshere finishing off the chance, and Olivier Giroud, just giving him that, small nod. That is my best goal. That is the Arsenal I grew up to love. The likes of Cesc Fabregas. That was our identity. In every season, we had such kind of players. We had Alexander Songbilong somewhere with Samuel Nasri and Cesc Fabregas. We had Aaron Ramsey, Wilshere, and Sant Cazorla and Mesut Ozil. That was our identity. It's absolutely dead. We began the season with Mohamed El-Neni, Dani Ceballos, and Thomas Partey and Granit Xhaka. Where is the creativity? Where is the identity? Where's the identity of the club? And look, you can never have exciting football if you do not have an identity. All the clubs that are playing good football, they have something they are playing. Dortmund, they pass that ball very fast and they pass it well. Liverpool, they run. City, they hold it. Barca, they hold it. So if you do not have the identity, you will never, because if you don't have the identity, you can't offer us anything, can you? Abraham is the type of player we need. I'm from UG. Arsenal is buying players that can keep them in top 8. Do you think Arsenal will get Martinez high, Cossy? No, absolutely not. It would be. I stand to be corrected. One day. Why are we going for Tammy Abraham? The ambitions we've been speaking about. Champions of Europe. We know what we are. It's according to my man Shama, right? Okay. Arsenal is a club. Arsenal as a club is going down seriously. 101 Dante says, who's been watching Premier League for long enough remembers Aston Villa being a great club, then went the wrong direction, right? Rumors every time. Action, no action for midfield. Let's wait for our position. That is position 8, right? We always accept rejects from Chelsea as we are a nanny home, rejects like Willian. That's what we've been saying. That's what I'm saying. You might blame Chelsea, but what kind of players are you actually going, for from Chelsea? Why don't you try to sign? Okay, let's say Vanna is a reject. Let's try to get Vanna. Yeah, let's try to get Vanna. But of all people, Tammy, because to keep up, I'm slowly giving up on Arsenal transfers. We've been linked with 99% players, but zero action. Good night to you, or good night to you, my man. I mean, if Arsenal get Madison and Taro, we will be very good with young players. We have to build around. Okay. By the way, people, there is money at Arsenal, but the problem is the Cronkies. Okay. Arsenal board are the problem. England, no money, no trophies. Okay. Emmanuel. Yeah. Look, I still remember, man. I still remember people hit like button, people. Let's get them to 70 right about now. Make sure you hit the like button. Let's get them to 70 right about now. Look, I still remember that Emmanuel Frimpong midfield. He was in the midfield when he was smashed 8. And he got there. He was sent off, wasn't he? I think he was sent off in that game. It's Emmanuel Frimpong, Sylvester, Danny Welbeck, Alexander Runason now. Are we making progress, really? Yeah. It's high time, we woke up. The real downfall started when Arsene left. You're wrong. You're wrong, Dante. The real downfall of Arsenal started even when this man was around. I respect him a lot. I do love him a lot, Arsene Wenger. I think it's been outrageously memorable at Arsenal. But the downfall began with him. There's no question about that. The downfall began with him. Aston Villa have Ole Watkins as at their front line. You want signing Tammy Abraham, and it's why don't we even try to go for players like Ole Watkins? Maybe try. Yes, Martinez ain't coming. We move on to the next transfer rumors, please. Funny, isn't it? Arsenal problem is the board, so no trophies for us. Forget that. Edu is a disgrace to the club. Playing for the club doesn't mean he should decide for the club. Arsenal is going down. Title contender. What have I just joined? I was only asking a question. Wasn't I? Arsenal is planning to win Premier League this season. We would love to see that. If Wenger won the league in 2007, 2008, Arsenal would have changed and become dominant in the future years. Okay. Terrible Tammy. We were so close. I mean, don't want to even say that. Yet 5 points clear, 12 games to go. And lost it. Cossy, can you tell me the situation of Manuel Locatelli? There's nothing around Manuel. Today is Tuesday, isn't it? Yeah, today is Tuesday. So tomorrow we hope to hear from the Manuel Locatelli situation. Our only title challenge since 2004 was the 4 points, and we was in it till the end of Feb. Match. What do you think is the cause of root in Arsenal's was? Like I said, for me, it's mismanagement. It's mismanagement. It's the mismanagement that has caused a lot of these problems, the loss of identity and things like that. It's the mismanagement. Absolutely. There is no other reason, people. There's no other reason. If you love to air your views, if you love to air your views, link is in the description. Glenn, my man, if you're there, you could just connect. I could just connect you, audio, unless anyone who wants to call in though. Jenkinson was sent off in that game. Thank you. We also had this, we had a right back called Carl Jenkinson. it's funny. We are talking as if these things happened so many years ago. They didn't. Sometimes you just have to laugh. If you don't, you're going to cry with us now. Someone is asking me for Madison update. There is nothing around Madison at the moment. Good morning, good evening, Cossy. Honestly, it pains to be linked with so many players and we don't sign. Let's do business in time. What is the goalkeeping situation, Cossy? We're still looking at two players now, Aaron Ramsdale and Sam Johnston. Yeah, you're looking at those two. Hopefully, we can actually get them in. Make sure, please do hit the like button, people. We are very close to 70. Make sure hit the like button. 10 more likes to do that. 10 more likes to get us to 70. It's easy talk. Hi, Cossy. I'm Paul, watching from Kenya, currently in Mogosha. I'm tired of Arsenal news. Arsenal should be serious while interested in a player. Okay, if they do not have money to spend on or to purchase good players, let them. Tell Arsenal fans worldwide to contribute. There'll be so many volunteers. Okay, how much are you willing to give us, Mbambi? Are you willing to give us £1 million probably? Inaki Williams. That's according to Jews. At the moment, Arsenal need super quality players to challenge in the top 4. Thank you so much, Pro. To Dennis from Uganda says, let's Arsenal sign Madison, our Edward O. Zakaria. I mean, what hurts is every Arsenal fan understands what would be the perfect window. We do understand what would be our perfect transfer window. We do understand. We do know our perfect transfer window. But honestly, are we aiming at that? Are we looking at that? I don't think. 159 people have voted, and many of you are saying Arsenal is not ready for the challenge. And I do not disagree with you people. I don't think we are ready for that challenge. I don't think we are ready for the top 4 challenge or even top 6 challenge. We need a midfielder like Santi Cazorla or like Mesut Ozil. Arsenal is non-serious. We are waiting for players to be loaned to us. Yeah, that's what's happening. I can't wait to see Madison and Howsam. I mean, you could wait forever as well. Because the Arsenal are wasting a lot of time in Odegaard and Locatelli. It's better for Aouar and Madison. Fabregas, Adebayo. Still remember that. No, I still remember that connection. Was class, wasn't it? And you just said was class before I read it. Arsenal will go to top 4. That's a little bit. I mean, look, Arsenal could even win the league because it's easy to say. It's easy to type, and it's easy for me to read it. Arsenal will win the league. It's easy, but honestly, you say that if you are just teleported from 2004 to now. Because with teleporting, you skip a lot of years and a lot of facts and a lot of events. But if you've gradually developed through, it's not that easy. It's not that easy. Cossy, can't we get Aaron Ramsey back? Do you think it's still the quality? Do you think Aaron Ramsey is still the quality of player he was? That's a big question though as well. Yeah, that's a very, very big question, as well. Is Aaron Ramsey the player he was 3 years ago, 4 years ago when he left Arsenal? Do you think he's still, he's still that quality? Are you not really, you are not really making any progress? This according to Henry. No progress, FC. No progress, FC. I don't see any kind of progress there. Really don't see it. Okay. Kukanza says Arsenal's downfall as a result of Edu and Kroenke by not putting money. Look, we might actually blame Edu, but Edu does the negotiations and maybe getting coordinating the scouts. Edu doesn't spend the money. Edu spends the money he is given. That's it. I don't know what's wrong with my eyes. I think that is as simple as that. Edu spends the money he is given, right? So Edu cannot buy cannot spend 300 million if the club's budget is 250 million. Just giving an example, right? Just giving an example. So Edu spends what he is given. Yes, I know there could be a couple of problems with Edu, in final decisions, maybe deciding to go for Odegaard rather than Madison, things like that. But Edu doesn't actually, decide how much the club will actually, take in transfers. It's the Cronkies. Because believe me, let me try to get in my man like Glenn. Okay. Hi, Dean, bro.
Hi, man. How are you?
I'm fine. Hi, Darren.
You should do more of these late night shows. It's like a therapy session, when you're about to sleep and you're watching and it's just pain. You feel the pain and then you take a nap and then you sleep. Very good show.
Yeah, yeah. I was looking at Manchester United signing Rafa Varane, and then I looked at our recent rumors, and we're actually looking at Tammy Abraham, and Chelsea are pushing to sign Erling Haaland, and I was pissed. I was just pissed. That is it. As absolutely pissed. I was like, we can't go on with this. This is not ambitious. This is not even look. A Chelsea fan saying, "Let's give Tammy Abraham will," because I love Rory. I love him so much. But when it says Tammy Abraham doesn't work for Chelsea but works for Arsenal, there is something it means. And anyway, what do you think? What do you think? Generally, what are our ambitions? Do you think we are even, still are we even still thinking about top four? Do you think we are even bothered? Do you feel like we are even bothered?
Now, remember our targets for this season. I actually do agree with what you said before. If you miss out on top 6, top 4 this season, then you're definitely a mid-table club. I think we have to get top 4 this season. No, not even we don't have to get it by 90 points or 80 points. Just be there and compete. The last few seasons, the last 6, 7 seasons, by September, we are out of the race. By September, we've already lost 3 games out of the first 4, and we are not. We always start the season positively. Every single season, we are like, this season you're going to get top 4. It gets to September, we've already lost 3 out of 4 games. You know what? Let's try top 6. Let's try top 6. After a couple of weeks again, we lose a couple of games. You know what? We'll try again next season. And it's not been a one season thing. It's been like that since like 2011, 10 years straight. So I'll go back to what you're talking before about the previous times with the Fabregases of this world. Let me talk about Abraham first. I don't think Abraham would massively change our fortunes that much. I think Madison would. I think Madison would be a signature signing. That would be sure other teams at Arsenal are now serious. I don't think signing Abraham would be like. I don't think Chelsea would be scared of Arsenal signing Abraham. I don't think Man City will be like, wow, Arsenal have signed Abraham. They're going to be really good. If City sign Grealish right now, all of us are going to be scared. All of us will be like, City again, they'll win this title with 100 points again, because you know the kind of difference it makes. But with Abraham, yes, he might score. Abraham is not a useless player. The first season when Lampard had the youngsters, he actually did very well with Mount. And last season as well, he didn't even play a lot of games, but he scored very many goals, although it was like in the FA Cup and Carabao Cup. So he's not a useless player, but in terms of changing your fortunes, Arsenal have a lot of problems. I've always been telling you, Chelsea, if you ask them what are your problems right now, they will maybe say, you know what, we need a player in this position, and then we're okay, fine. If you go to United and ask them what is your problem right now, they will tell you, we need someone to play next to Maguire. Just one problem, maybe. If you go to a Man City, they'll tell you we need a striker. If you come to Arsenal, we will not tell you one problem. We'll tell you over 100 problems. We will tell you, know what? We need someone to create chances. We need someone to play at the back. We need someone to play at right back. We need to sign a captain. We need a backup goalkeeper. We need someone to be on the bench. We need someone to replace Jack. We need we need this, we need that, we need, because we have so many problems and they've piled up so many years, so many years. And what worries me is that we've not been under the same regime. We've been under Gazidis, under Wenger, under Raul, under so many people, and it's still dropping and dropping and dropping. So I always say the one main thing, one main person who remains is Kroenke. So that has to change. I agree with the comment that we saw earlier about someone who cares. I just need an owner who cares. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure if I gave you 5 billion right now and you bought Arsenal, I think would not be eighth. I think would be above that because you care about the club. You know which kind of players we need. You know how the fans feel. I don't think Kroenke knows how we feel. Kroenke is probably in Miami right now, enjoying himself, and he doesn't care about Arsenal. I'm trying. I'm going to mention four games that really changed Arsenal's fortune. I'll start with one. 2006 Champions League final. I think
Yeah.
if we won that Champions League final, I think things would have been different for us right now. Because until today, the only banter fans usually use is Arsenal have never won a Champions League. So
Yeah.
the fans would never have really gotten that. That 2006 final, we were 10 minutes away from winning the Champions League, and I've been an Arsenal fan since 2004, but that was the first time I ever stayed overnight to watch a game. You get, because I had school those days. That was the first time I was ever allowed to watch a game at night when I had school the next day. That was the first ever game I watched on a school night, and I couldn't believe it. Like when Campbell scored, I was like, "Wow, this is really the team I started supporting." Campbell has scored, you're going to win the Champions League. After that Belletti goal went in, it killed us completely. I think that was the first game that totally killed us in Wenger. I think after that game, he started giving up on winning the Champions League and everything. Someone mentioned 2007, 2008. I can't believe we didn't win the league that season. I think we only lost 3 games that season:
Yeah.
Chelsea, United, and Middlesbrough. The Chelsea game that we lost, we had a 1-0 lead and we conceded 2 goals to Drogba, I think, in the final 20 minutes. The second game against United, we also had a 1-0 lead at Old Trafford. And I think it was Hargreaves who scored a free kick or something, or Diaby scored an own goal, something crazy like that. And then the third game, Middlesbrough, they beat us 1-0. So if we won the league that season as well, I can only imagine we would have gone on to win maybe at least 2 more. I think we'd have gotten the right players and would have gone on to win at least 2 more in the next 5, 6 years. But after losing the title that season, I think it also finished Wenger completely. And then there's a time Messi scored 4 goals against us. I think it was 2009 or something,
Yeah.
Almunia. I think that also finished us completely. That's when we started realizing, you know what, the Vieira and Henry time is over. We really need to replace them seriously because we have started dropping badly. Barcelona beating us 4 goals, Messi scoring 4 goals, and it was 4 disrespectful goals. 4 disrespectful goals against Almunia. And then the fourth one obviously was the 8-2 game. 8-2 totally killed us. Jenkinson getting the red card, and I'm very happy that you mentioned Frimpong. That
Mm.
starting lineup that day, that was a joke. We had Coquelin, Frimpong, Jenkinson, Armand Traore at left back. I think was it
And you know
Chesney?
what's funny? You know what's funny is those players were not there by mistake. It looks like it was the squad we were gonna use for the whole season.
Yeah, I'm actually very glad we lost that game because I wouldn't want to know which position we'd have finished that season because we went and panicked by, although the players who joined us weren't that good anyway, the likes of Santos and Benayoun. Benayoun was okay for a couple of seasons here and there, but I think those 4 games killed us completely. And I saw someone saying, talking about Wenger, that Wenger was not the problem, that it started dropping after Wenger. Definitely not. It started when Wenger
No.
was here.
Yeah.
Because I think around 2011, I think when City, let's even go back to 2005, because we were ahead of Chelsea by so many years, but they overtook us. Why? Because Chelsea started buying players. Robben, they started buying Crespo, Gudjonsson, those kind of players. Lampards before that. They bought so many players with a lot of money. That's when Wenger started saying, you know what, football is not about money. So he was left behind. Football was starting to change, and Wenger was left behind. City came, they also overtook us. They used money, we didn't. So Wenger was under the mentality of, you know what, I'm just going to create a team. I'm going to build the youngsters. I'm going to trust in Jack Wilshere. I'm going to bring up the likes of Ramsey, bring up the likes of the goalkeepers, the Fabianskis, the Manones of this world. We were left behind, and it started under Wenger. And all those problems over the years, problems of not signing players, problems of signing so many wrong players, they are all haunting us until today. And I don't know how long it's going to take us to sort it out.
You know what I think is, you make a very interesting point there. I think one of our strengths was that strong recruiting system. You could spot players and bring them in, and they create that immediate impact. Obviously, it was also, it also depended on the quality of the teams we were playing with. Right now, we have almost 10 teams at the same level at the level of Arsenal. Back then, I don't think it was. I think there were only 4 or 5 teams that that were really that big. But again, look at Dortmund. They're still doing it. They're still getting away with it. They're still going for Champions League every season. Yes, you ask me, what are they doing there, Cossy? Not much, but they're still getting away with it. They're still getting Erling Haaland for 16, 17 million. They're still getting the likes of Jadon Sancho for 16, 17 million. I think what actually affected us was we reached a time when we couldn't sport no more, when our sporting network had actually died. And then it was all about now the money. And we couldn't spend the money, and we were stuck. We were absolutely stuck.
Do you think it would have been different if we stayed at Highbury?
I don't know. I don't know. Highbury is not even Highbury is a museum now. Highbury is a museum. All the moments.
Yeah. I see someone talking about Arteta. I understand that is probably one of a lot of problems that I'm talking about. But I can guarantee you right now, even if you bring whichever manager right now, that would sort out maybe one of the 100 problems we have. We don't even have scouts. I didn't even mention that. We don't even have good scouts. That's why Dortmund are up there. That's why Atletico Madrid are up there. Atletico Madrid, can you name all the players they've sold over the years? Diego Costa, Courtois, they sold
Romelu Falcao.
So many players. So De Gea, Falcao, so many players. Torres, Aguero, so many players. Southampton, they sold so many players. The Manes, Van Dijks of this world. Dortmund, so many players. Haaland, Aubameyang, Pulisic, so many players have left, but those teams are still competing because they have good scouts. Leicester have very good scouts in the Premier League. Very, very good. They buy players that we've never heard about, but they end up competing every single season. Fofana, Tielemans. How we should have signed Tielemans. You were telling me there's no one at Arsenal who spotted Tielemans. The person at Arsenal actually said, we're okay with El Neni. Let's not look for people like Tielemans. Because Tielemans, I think Tielemans was less than 30 million. Why couldn't anyone go for Tielemans at Arsenal? So many problems. We don't have good scouts. We don't have the problem with the stadium. Moving stadium affected us. We've never had a couple of seasons, maybe good runs at the Emirates. But since I think teams feared coming to the Highbury. I don't think teams these days fear coming to Emirates. I don't think. Burnley's, Everton's, I think all of those teams actually come thinking they can win. I think 10 years ago when we had Fabregas and Van Persie, and a lot of people hated Adebayo, but Adebayo was a very good finisher. I remember I used to enjoy watching football when we had Adebayo and Van Persie. It was very, very good football. Even Walcott, even Leb, so those players, it was very, very good football. So right now we have so many problems. You cannot, Kroenke, you can say Kroenke. I don't think you can say Aubameyang is our problem, or you say, you know what, it was Kolasinac, or it is Arteta. No, we have so many problems that have been building up for 15 years. 15 years.
Yeah, I think another big problem is our identity. It's part of what you've said. When Arsenal lose that fear, from the enemies, from the opponents, it's part of the identity that we had, and now it's no more. I mean, we could pass that ball for 5 minutes. We could dominate games for 10 minutes. what actually happened, last season, we couldn't make 2 4-yard passes. Players couldn't do that. Absolutely. Players couldn't do that. That was our identity. We were called, I remember when Swansea were promoted, they were challenging us in the league. And they're like, Swansea actually passed the ball better than Arsenal. I think that's the last time when we passed the ball. I think that was the last time when and that since then, Arsenal's identity has died. You don't see clear-cut chances being created. Like I said, when Leicester City won the league, yeah, it was only a striker. Arsenal could have won that league if we had a striker. We didn't have one, and we couldn't win the league. Now, despite the fact that you could have a prolific striker, no chances are actually coming in. Players are not passing the ball. It looks like a very different Arsenal, very different. Do you think Mikel could build an identity, probably rebuild the identity we had, or probably get us something new? Because I think what Liverpool had is they had this traditional kind of football, and that was their identity. Get this ball, cross it in, and whoever is there is gonna head it. Get the likes of Gerrard, and they're gonna shoot at goal. That was their kind of football. When Jurgen Klopp came in, he created them another brand and another identity, and what a joy they are to watch. So, and for me, the identity-wise, we are not anywhere. We are not anything. We are an assembled 11 on the pitch, despite the fact that we are playing, Hibernian or City. We are an assembled 11 on the pitch, trying to do what each player knows. Do you think maybe Arteta, we can get from that from Mikel after this season? Maybe the identity.
Oh, he has a few months to do it. He doesn't have. I don't think he has the entire season to do it. I think he has a very short time to do it.
Yeah.
We've not had an identity for a long time. Let me take you back to another Barcelona game. That was 2011 when we beat them 2-1. When Xavi and that goal from Xavi to win us that game. That was Arsenal. That you knew the identity. When you're about to watch an Arsenal game against Barcelona, we didn't actually fear Barcelona. We knew, what? We're going to pass it around. We're going to create chances. We're going to finish. We're going to have some corners, some good free kicks here and there, some good creativity, throw balls to Walcott. Right now, there's no identity. The obvious identity you usually imagine is we have pacey players. We have Pepe who can run. We have Aubameyang who can run. We are meant to be putting through balls to them. I've never seen Pepe through one-on-one with the goalkeeper from a pass. He's been here for 2 seasons. I don't think I've ever seen Pepe one-on-one with the goalkeeper. And that, if you watch the highlights on YouTube at Lille, he was getting so many one-on-one chances with the goalkeepers. At Arsenal, I've never seen anyone putting a through pass to Pepe. Because, okay, sometimes he runs, but there's no one to pick out that pass. But since he came here, he's been over there in the touchline having to dribble, left, right, foul, corner, left, right. We are supposed to be playing using their pace. Aubameyang as well, he's behind defending on the left side. We are supposed to have him in front, getting those through balls to him. Because let me tell you, if Fabregas played with Aubameyang would have been getting 100 chances per game. Those through balls that Fabregas used to make for Van Persie and Adebayo, and even Song, those passes Song used to make, those long balls. If Aubameyang used to be there those days, would have been enjoying himself. These days, that is the identity we are supposed to be using, or supposed to be having. There's nothing like that. I don't know if Arsenal are a defensive team, and it's not just because of Arteta, by the way, anyone who's saying that. I've not known Arsenal's identity the last 6 years, since 2014 or something. I don't know if Arsenal is an attacking team. I don't know if you're trying to beat teams. I don't know if you're playing counter-attack. I don't know if you're trying to keep possession. Last season, as you said, we couldn't give 2-3 passes. And what was worrying was, it was not like it was just Elneny. It was the better players as well. Partey misplaced so many passes at the end of the season, I couldn't even believe it. Aubameyang missing chances. The defenders we are depending on getting red cards. We had so many problems. I don't even know where it went wrong. Like, we need a massive improvement this season, massive. And we have like 3 weeks to the season, and I wouldn't say I'm 100% confident.
Let me ask you a question. What were we playing under Unai Emery?
In terms of identity?
Yeah, what was that? Look? I mean, all I remember is we conceded lots and lots of goals. That is
Yeah.
one of the things I still remember.
I think
What
I'd
was that
say
guy doing?
I think he was trying. I think he was approaching his games like you remember when Klopp was new at Liverpool. I remember they
Mm.
beat Norwich by 4. I think they were winning games by 6 goals to 3, like Suarez and Sturridge days. They used to win a lot of games by scoring goals, and they don't care whether they concede 6 as long as they score 8. So I think Emery was approaching that the games like that. I think it's called gun ho, like you just go for it, like just attack, attack, attack. I don't remember the name in basketball, but there's also a basketball term for that, where the game ends like 150, 150. Every team is just attacking. There's no one defending. That was Emery's like identity and us. Like we were just attacking and we didn't even care about defense. That's why there's a time Watford came to the Emirates and they had was it at the Emirates of their place and they had almost 40 shots. Watford against
Yeah,
us.
yeah, I still remember that.
40 shots.
Yeah.
Brighton came to the Emirates, they beat us 2-1, and they had 30 shots. If we take it back to 10 years ago and used to play the Blackburns and Blackpools of this world, Blackburn used to come to the Emirates and have one shot from a corner because they were so scared of attacking Arsenal at the Emirates. Teams like Portsmouth, teams like that would come to Arsenal and not even have a shot. And Arsenal would win the game 4-0 because teams were scared. And then you start seeing teams like Brighton and Watford and Frankfurt. I think that was Emirates' last game. Frankfurt at Emirates, they came and had like 20, 25 shots. It was very worrying at that time. Like I was very scared. Like I think after that Frankfurt game is when I also changed my mind on Emery. I was like, no, he needs to go. We cannot be conceding that number.
Yeah.
35 shots against Watford. Teams were playing against Arsenal and they knew we can beat Arsenal. I'm pretty sure the way we usually say, you know what, Cossy, we are playing Burnley. This should be 3 points. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure teams like Burnley, when they look at Arsenal these days, they're like, it's Arsenal. This should be 3 points.
This should be
I
three
think they
points,
also
isn't
look at it like that. So I think teams come to the Emirates and they don't get 3 points, they get disappointed. They're like, you know what, Burnley, Aston Villa, they all won there and we couldn't beat Arsenal. That is a disappointment. So I think Emery was playing like a gun-ho approach, like you score, I score, you score, I score. But obviously, the kind of players we also had, they did not have that kind of energy.
it?
You run
Yeah.
for 90 minutes, they did not have that kind of energy.
Yeah, but look, I think under Unai Emery, and this is ridiculous to say, but under Unai Emery, what we had was a manager. You just felt that that kind of confidence in the manager on the touchline, right? A manager.
Yeah.
Now it's normal. Do you think maybe we should have kept Unai Emery? Because I think the very reasons that's why we are keeping Mikel could have been justifiable reasons if we kept Unai Emery. Look, I wanted him out, and I'm not even changing my mind. But do you think maybe we could have kept it and kept him and did all this backing, gave all this backing to him? Maybe it would have been better because he was a manager that had won a couple of titles at Seville, led us to a final in Europa that we lost, and also had been at PSG. His CV was a little bit, you could sell his CV to anyone.
I think they actually wanted to keep him because that season we didn't start the season well. I think there were many fans. I remember Claude of FTV, rest in peace to him. I remember he said after the Chelsea game, I think when you lost 4 and you've spoken about it, I think he wanted Emery to go then after that game. He didn't want him to get another season. The next season, we started it very poorly. Okay, we started it okay. I think we beat Burnley and another team in the first 2 games, and then it all went sour after that. We lost so many games. We couldn't score. We were conceding so many chances, but they were still keeping him. I think their plan was to keep him until the end of the season. And then I think there's a Southampton game we drew 2-2. Lacazette scored in the 96th minute. And actually, fans were disgusted that Lacazette scored. I think so many people wanted us to lose so that he'd get sacked. I think that day I also didn't celebrate an Arsenal goal. I was like, why did you score Lacazette? Like, that was the first time I ever felt like that. Like, I just wanted us, like, the game was so bad, so I didn't see the need of scoring in the last minute anyway. So after that, we went to Frankfurt. I think we played a game against Frankfurt and then lost. I think after that, and story about the players turning on him, the players not understanding him, and then they remembered the Europa League final. I think that's when they made the decision. I think the players' mentality and players' disrespect to Emery kind of helped the guys make the decision on Emery, which is not a good thing. I do not like players getting a manager sacked because with Mourinho as well, I think Mourinho at Chelsea would have stayed if it was not for the players. I think at United he would have stayed if it was not for the Shaw and Pogba's of this world. I think he would have stayed at Tottenham as well if I think some players hadn't turned on him, the likes of Dele Alli. So I think for Emery, they were planning to keep him, but the players, as they always say, they didn't understand him. They were making jokes about him. I think that's when I also don't think he wanted to be here. There's a couple of times that he just looked like he was tired of the Arsenal job anyway. So I think it would have gotten to a point where he'd have resigned anyway and left us in a tougher position than when we got Arteta. Because hey, the first 1 year with Arteta was okay. True or false, it was okay. We actually kind of improved defensively. We ended up winning the FA Cup and everything. So the change happened. It worked for the first 1 year, and then the next season of it, maybe you say you would have done like Chelsea did, or you'd have done like other teams did. Maybe after that FA Cup, you'd have been, you know what? Thank you, you've done a good job, but can you now like step aside so that you can get another manager? And I think if you'd have left after that FA Cup, I think most of you would have loved Arteta. I think most of you would have remembered Arteta, like, you know what, Arteta came for 1 year and he did his job. He won us a couple of trophies and left, and then I'd be happy to bring him back. Let me ask you a question as well. If Arteta left after that FA Cup, not getting sacked, you'd have just said, you know what, I've won these guys a couple of trophies, let me step aside and help Arsenal and let another manager come. After like 5 years, would you be ready to be like, you know what, Arteta did well for 1 year, let me bring him back?
It's really hard one. It's a really hard one. Because the problem with football is, and I always fall for it, is the results. The result. The moment Mikel actually won that title, I'm gonna be very, very honest. To the first 30,000 subscribers of this channel, the moment he won that title, the FA Cup, I was carried away. I was carried away. I still remember the stream that I did. I was carried away. And after beating Liverpool in the Community Shield as well, you still remember that? I was like, maybe we have something here. Maybe we have something here. But my problem with Mikel, look, if he had left, just to answer your question, if he had left in after that FA Cup, I would have been sad. That's the truth. I would have been sad because by that time I was just emotional. The links, when we were linked with Mikel, I was disgusted. I was like, come on, Arsenal, we've done so many bad things, not this one. At least not a manager that has never been anywhere, not a manager that has not taken any responsibility anywhere. When we brought him in, I was like, this is the end of Arsenal. This is the end. Until I didn't even understand how we moved from Unai Emery to Mikel. But when we won that FA Cup, I was carried away a little. I was like, wait a minute. And remember, it was on on the back of a very bad season. We were never used to getting to 8th. We were never, and we had finished 8th. So I was like, wait, we have a positive in a season. Let's give him his own season. And what a disappointment was. So if he left, if he had left after FA Cup, it would have depended on who we bring in. If he had left and we brought in Nuno Espirito Santo, I would have felt like get me Mikel Arteta back. But if he leaves after FA Cup, and we go for someone like Thomas Tuchel, with all due respect, I have my own problems with Thomas Tuchel, but winning the Champions League, with Chelsea, is also a big milestone. Or brought in someone like Pochettino, I wouldn't miss him. I wouldn't really miss him.
Yeah. So, I mean, a couple of comments from the chat. I can see Zara Brook asking, why are you talking about Arsenal history? I think it's good to speak about it today and tomorrow. We are trying to find out why we've gotten ourselves into this position. And the
Yeah.
only way to find your problem is to find the source. And the source has been the last 10, 15 years. So it has been the history past. So we are trying to find out what has brought us into this position. And I think that's the only way that we can sort out our problems is if the guys who are going to take us forward sit down together and say, you know what, Arsene Wenger did this in 2014. We need to do this in 2022 or 2023. If we did this in 2004, we need to do this differently in 2008. What did we do right in 2002 to win the league? Let's do it right now. So you have to find out the source, and the source is from years ago. So you have to take a look at that. And for the players we're getting linked with, another commentary. So it's it's as a content creator, it's Cosy's job to talk about the links and tell you guys how he feels about those links. Because with Arsenal, yeah, if I heard you saying it earlier, if you're an Arsenal fan and you don't know how many players Arsenal gets linked to in the transfer window, I'm pretty sure we've not even covered them all. If we started talking about links, we'll talk about more than 400 players. There's been like 20 right backs, another 20 left backs. There's been another 15 goalkeepers, another 10 midfielders. So many players you're getting into. So it's just about, because I don't think we actually usually bring for you every single detail, like in terms of players getting linked to. So it's just trying to break down which players we need, which players is better, which player is better. Can we get this? It's not about Arsenal have signed Abraham and bringing you false news. It's about breaking the links down. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. There's a breaking story. Juve have actually elevated their offer to Sassuolo for Manuel Locatelli, and the offer is actually 10 million for a loan spell of 2 years, 20 million euros by obligation, and 5 million euros in add-ins. They're saying the offer is close to 35 million euros, and Sassuolo have decided they want to sell to Arsenal, but the player still wants to join. Still wants to join Juve. How do you see that end up? How do you see that end up? For me, at first it was an easy one. Juve will meet the valuation, but I think this is the ceiling of Juventus. They're not going above this.
I don't think Arsenal are serious anyway about it. That's the problem. If Arsenal was serious, you'd have already gotten him. That's the problem. Because I don't believe the story about Arsenal's name being used for other teams to pay money. I don't believe in that. But I think Arsenal, you have to think maybe these players were not Arsenal's main targets, the likes of Buendia and Locatelli, because they would have been a bit more serious to getting these players, because they're not serious at all. So as I said, we have 3 weeks to go. I'm really hoping they have other plans and good plans to sort out our midfield, because we cannot start the season with El Neni in midfield. He's okay. He's a good person. He's a good guy. He's a kind person. But can you really start the season with him? I don't think so. So for people like Locatelli, I think it would be a good buy, but I don't think Arsenal actually are serious about him in you.
Yeah, absolutely. My man, Coffee, how are you doing? Sorry for sorry for delaying to bring you on. How are you doing, bro?
Yeah. Thanks for having me here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you very well.
Yeah, thanks for having me on the live. I've been listening throughout the whole live, and I think the transfer that Arsenal's making has got me excited, and it's got me excited. There's a few things that I think we need to do. I think we're going to be better this season than last season. I think first of all, I want to talk about the players we need to get rid of. We need to get rid of Bellerin, Xhaka. We need to get rid of Bellerin, Xhaka. El Neni needs to go. I don't think he's good enough. Xhaka, Bellerin, El Neni. Those are 3 players I think we need to get rid of. I think Lacazette needs to go. I think that Lacazette, ever since Aubameyang signed his deal and started performing poorly, a lot of people don't realize that Aubameyang, ever since he signed the new deal, has been performing very poorly in front of goal. Even in preseason, he performed very, very poorly. Yeah. And Lacazette has picked up the same attitude. He's been performing poorly. I think he needs to go. Arsenal needs to be extremely ruthless in getting rid of players who shouldn't be there. Willian needs to go through the exit door. He's not needed either. A lot of the Arsenal players need to go. And I think the new players that are coming through, the young ones, Xhaka, Martinelli, Emil Smith-Rowe. I know Saliba is on loan, and A lot of the younger players, Lokonga, I think they're going to be the future for us, and I think they're the ones going to push it. Because last year it was actually Emil Smith Rowe and Zach and the young ones that were pushing us. They were the ones that were performing at a high level. In terms of players, I see we need to bring in. Arsenal need to bring in a goalkeeper to keep Leno on his toes. We need to bring in a goalkeeper who's going to challenge Leno. One player that I think Arsenal should go for is Barcelona's second goalkeeper. Neto, yeah. Arsenal need to go for him instead of Ramsdale's too expensive. But with Neto, he's a world-class goalkeeper that can actually take number one spot. And he's only going to cost around £10 million or less. Arsenal need to go for a central midfielder. Because obviously with Xhaka leaving, Ceballos and gone, Arsenal need to bring in another central midfielder. Arsenal then need to go into the market to get Odegaard. Now, Real Madrid say they don't want Odegaard anymore. He's surplus. They don't want him as part of the team, as Ancelotti has said. Arsenal need to go in fully and get Odegaard in and get one more central midfielder. So then we're stacking central midfield. Because remember, when African Cup of Nations starts, Partey would have to leave to play for Ghana. Then Arsenal will be short in terms of quality. So we need to get them watching Gladbach central defensive midfielder, Zakaria, and then bring in Odegaard. So the midfield is secured. But in terms of the striker, I think Tammy Abraham is in a title. I'm not sure. With Tammy Abraham, I decided to look up his stats in it. He reminds me of Van Nistelrooy. Most of his goals are in and around the 6-yard box. So he's a bit like Van Nistelrooy. All his goals are in and around the 6-yard box. So he's almost like a fox in a box. He scores a goal per 150 minutes. So per a game and a half, which is roughly 100, he scores a goal. So he's very decent. He's not a world-class striker like other world-class strikers, but he's decent. But I think what Arsenal need to go for is, or what Arsenal are beginning to look at is they're beginning to look at the Inter Milan striker. I don't know if you heard about it. It's called Martinez.
Yeah, Martinez, Lautaro.
He spearheaded Argentina to winning the Copa America. He's young, 23. He's only going to be improving.
Yeah, but Martinez is 90 million euros. Are we spending that on one player, 90 million euros?
He's around 60 million pounds.
Actually, he has a release clause of 111 million euros. A release clause. So if Inter don't reduce the price, we'll have to pay 111 million euros to get him out.
Well, okay, I've never really heard of the release clause, but Arsenal have gone in for him, and Inter Milan gave Arsenal a price tag of 60 million pounds, which is around, I don't know, 75 euros. I'm not sure. 75 million euros, I'm not sure, but 60 million pounds. And Inter want to right back, so we can give them Bellerin and add maybe 40 to 50 million pounds to get the Inter Milan striker. And Arsenal are actually considering. I think we should go for him instead of Tammy Abraham. But I think Tammy Abraham is if you get him and Tammy Abraham is good to have him on the bench as a second striker to play in cup games, or maybe you want to rest your main striker and he can come up. But I think Arsenal should go in for the Inter Milan striker instead. I think that I'm a big Arsenal fan. I was watching Arsenal. I think 2 years ago, Arsenal lost, 5-1 to Liverpool, where a lot of the Arsenal players were sliding all over the floor, slipping and sliding as the Liverpool striker scored. That's when I realized the Arsenal team needs to change. I'm actually happy with what Edu's doing. When the Arsenal board have sat Rahul Sanheli and brought in Edu, because Arsenal finished 8th. That's the reason why they sacked them. And the players that Edu have let go, Socrates, Mustafi, David Luiz, there was a right by Lichtsteiner, Kolasinac. Those were the main defenders on that day when Liverpool absolutely destroyed us. And Liverpool could have scored more goals yet. Arsenal have made quick changes. So I think the Ben White signing, and we have Gabriel Mari, and we have Partey, and we have the fullbacks. I think Arsenal defensively, Arsenal last season were the third best defensive team in the league. So I expect Arsenal to improve defensively this season. But if I was to predict what position Arsenal will finish in, I would say Arsenal should fight for a Europa League spot. I don't think we're good enough yet to go for the Champions League spot unless we bring in the Inter Milan striker, bring in Odegaard and one world-class central midfielder, maybe a goalkeeper. Then we can maybe look to go for the Champions League. But another problem with Arsenal that you said earlier was that I think we should have given Unai Emery a bit more time. Because what a lot of people don't realize is that Man to get to know the team, the club, to get to. It takes Ferguson, the great. Nearly got sacked. Manchester United gave him time after time, and eventually he got it right. Managers sometimes need a bit of time to. Sometimes they don't. I think letting Unai Emery go was a good thing, but looking back at it, Emery went on to win the Europa League with Villarreal, which showed that it's not Unai Emery who was a problem. It's the players. The players that were at Arsenal are not good enough. They were not good enough. Because remember, he didn't win the Europa League with this Arsenal team, but the following season, he won the Europa League trophy with Villarreal, right?
Yeah.
And previously, he had won it 3 times with Sevilla. So this obviously is a sign that, okay, maybe he was partially to blame, but he wasn't entirely to blame for Arsenal not winning the Europa, and the players were just simply not good enough.
Yeah,
And,
I mean, there's no manager that is entirely to blame for this for the Arsenal miss. But let me just ask you, when we lost that Frankfurt game, with Unai Emery, that time, were you would you have been a little bit more patient if we kept him, or how were you feeling when we lost to Frankfurt that night?
I was feeling deficit because I think Frankfurt were there for the taking. We didn't come against a proper European giants with world-class players. Frankfurt, we should have really gone at it, but the players are not good enough. I think the disappointment in Unai came, it was not necessarily the Liverpool game. The Liverpool game, I saw as the Arsenal player not good enough. But I think we played Woolwich and we played Norwich or one of the teams, Watford, Norwich, I can't remember. And Arsenal tried to play out from the back, and Socrates passed it to the striker, and the striker just shot and scored. I don't know if you guys saw that game. I think that's when I realized Unai Emery's tactics of playing out from the back. The playing out from the back tactics has never really made sense to me. It's never, because it just puts pressure. You have to have the players to do so.
Yeah, I mean,
Arsenal didn't have the players to do so. And with Arteta, another thing I don't like about Arteta's tactics is that Arteta's tactics is mainly possession game. Pass is mainly possession game. He almost put his tactics at Arsenal similar to how La Liga teams play. But what Arteta doesn't realize that the English Premier League, well, he should know, he played for Everton and Arsenal. The English Premier League is a fast-paced game. And the sideways passes and the slow passes is not doing Arsenal in the face. So I think Arteta needs to change his tactics. Arteta is new in management or being a head coach. I don't think he's good enough for the Arsenal job, but as time goes on, he will obviously improve and maybe he would eventually become good as time goes on. But I don't think he should have been the right man to lead this Arsenal team. I think we should have gone for a more experienced, maybe a Conte or Ancelotti or maybe Allegri. We should have paid the top dollar or top pounds and the money to get these top managers. But I think that with the young players that I mentioned earlier, with the Martinelli and the ones his age group, and Arteta being a young manager himself, I think they want to build like an empire. And Arsenal will go on to be a huge success. But right now, I can see Arsenal having a better season than last season, but I don't see us getting into the top 4. I don't think we're good enough.
Do you reckon we shall make it top? We shall go back to the Europa League. Do you reckon that?
Yeah, I think that the Arsenal team, this Arsenal team, is capable of challenging for the Europa League spot. So maybe 6th place is something they can definitely push for. They are good enough. I think that a lot of them guys who were causing mistakes for Arsenal, David Luiz, Xhaka, those guys are gone. So I can see Arsenal being a bit more solid defensive. I think we can challenge for the Europa League, especially if Aubameyang, gets his scoring boost on and scores goals, and the Inter Milan striker comes in. We get a world-class striker like him. I can see us challenging for maybe 5th, 6th spot. I can see us getting 6th spot if we challenge for Europa League spot. But I don't think Arsenal is good enough for a Champions League place. And yeah,
let me just. I don't know if Glenn has any questions for you, but let me ask you this, and Glenn will actually have it. A time to ask you. I'm just asking. If you think about it, what is the ratio? What is the percentage you think Arsenal has the possibility to bring in the right players this summer?
I think they're going to bring in the right players, but they first of all need to get rid of the deadwood, because Arsenal need to raise money. They can't just be spent. They don't have the money. Eventually, they'll run them. They need to get rid of. Let me think off the top of my head. They need to get rid of Bellerin. They need to get rid of 80 million now. Willock. They need to get rid of El Neni, Lacazette, Xhaka. These other transfers that are there, that will raise at least 70 million for Arsenal. Plus, Arsenal board can add maybe 50 million so they can go in and get 2 or 3 world-class players or potential world-class players.
We have already spent 75.
That's what I said. So they need to get rid of at least 4, 5, 6 players in order to raise money to then go into the transfer and buy more players. You understand what I'm saying? You need to get rid of the players. Xhaka, Bellerin can easily get 40 million. Ezimenez and Willer can easily get another 40 million for me. So they need to sell the players to get the money they need to go after the Inter Milan striker and maybe one world-class central midfield. But the goalkeeping department is another thing that's a scare because during preseason, I saw Nkonkwo, the Arsenal goalkeeper, and he's not ready. He made a lot of mistakes. He made a lot of mistakes that Arsenal conceded goals. Arsenal obviously need a goalkeeper. That's something because if Leno gets injured now or gets suspended or he decides to do an Ozil on Arsenal. Because I think Ozil tainted a lot of the Arsenal players. He decided to do what Ozil did, relax and don't care. Arsenal will be in big trouble because they'll conquer the third goalkeeper is not ready. So I think Arsenal should go for the Barcelona goalkeeper. He's around 8 to 10, maybe 50 million pounds. He's cheaper than Ramsdale. I don't think Ramsdale is a good keeper. He's a good keeper. I don't think he's as good as the 30 million pounds that his club is asking for. So if we get Neto, I wanted Arsenal to go after it. There was Fulham had a free agent goalkeeper. I don't know if you guys heard of him. His name was something Telly. He was free agent. I think he was decent. He's not the best, but if Arsenal went from a second goalkeeper, it would have been good. But I think Arsenal should go for the Barcelona goalkeeper. Look to go for a goalkeeper on a continent to bring us back up for Leno. But I think what we need is a goalkeeper, a central midfielder, and then obviously a striker. I think Odegaard is coming to Arsenal according to reports. He's coming. His representatives have gotten in contact with Arsenal. He said he wants to come. So once we get him and Ben White, we need another central midfielder or a defensive midfielder, another striker, and a goalkeeper. Then maybe we can start thinking of pushing for Champions League spot.
Okay, Glenn, any questions for Coffee?
Oh yeah, I have so many good points you've made. By the way, if Cossy retires, I can see we have good hands to replace him. So Coffee, make sure you get that job if Cossy retires. So my first question is next season we've been talking about formations a lot. 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3. Which formation do you think Arsenal should use next season?
I think 4-3-3 is my favorite formation. I think the 4-3-3 allows possession game. It also allows Arsenal to counter quicker because it goes from 4-5-1 in defensively to easily 4-3-3. You have 3 strikers or forwards attacking potentially 4 defenders part of the defensive midfield of the opposition. The 4-3-3 I think is the modern way to go about things. Is a lot more potent in terms of attacks. 4-3-3 also, I think personally, if we get rid of, like I said, we should put Aubameyang in striker. That's where he really should be playing. And then we should put Pepe and Saka or Saka and Martinelli, any of them really, on the wings. I think Willian is another player we need to get rid of. His wages are too high. He's not justifying the wages he's getting. We need to get rid of him. And I think that 4-3-3 with Partey, Emil Smith-Rowe and Lokonga in the middle of the three midfield is very good. It's actually very good because Lokonga reminds me of Essien when he was at Chelsea. He's a box-to-box midfielder. And I can see Arsenal, doing good. I think that one thing Arsenal need to avoid or we need to cut out of our games is we need to stop getting thrashed by the big teams. We saw that with Bayern Munich in the Champions League, Manchester United 8-2. So that when Chelsea beat us 6-0 at Stamford Bridge, Man City beat us easily. Liverpool beat us 5-1 on multiple occasions. Arsenal need to make sure that we saw the defense so we don't lose to big teams by big margins. And that's the reason why they've gotten rid of all of the defenders that played 2 years ago or a year and a half ago against Liverpool at Anfield, and they've brought in the new defenders, new fullbacks, and new defensive midfielder and Partey because it's embarrassing when those things happen. So that's something we need to get rid of because if we don't cut it out, we were a laughing stock. But hopefully with the new players, we wouldn't get thrashed by the big teams anymore because it was embarrassing being an Arsenal fan, going against your rivals, your other top four rivals and being in Champions League and getting, thrashed. But that's one thing we hopefully, I think, we're never going to see ever again. But 4-3-3 formation in the league, yeah, 4-3-3. But I've heard people say 4-2-3-1, but the 4-2-3-1, I don't think is a good enough formation because we saw that you can easily get overrun in midfield with just two midfielders. So
Yeah,
the
but
4-3-3
but if with a 4-3-3, it's good. It's good in terms of attack, but again, you need very good fullbacks. You need very athletic midfielders. Do you think we have the quality to operate, to operate a 4-3-3? We are playing. You're playing a high line. Basically, you're playing a high line. Do you think we have the quality to play 4-3-3 effectively well?
I think that like I said, I would like to see Aubameyang Lacazette go and Aubameyang play right up front as the main striker. I think with Pepe or Martinelli or Zaka on the wings, I think those guys are quality enough. And then I look at the fullbacks, Tierney. The only problem will be maybe the right back. With right back is there's a question mark who's going to play right back. I'll actually go for Suarez. I think him being a Portuguese international and playing for Southampton, I think he's an accomplished right back. He's not the best in the league. He's probably not top 5 in the league, but out of all the right backs, he definitely is the most accomplished, most experienced. In terms of 4-3-3, you are right in terms of you need the quality of midfielders and the fullbacks because there will be a gap in that part of the pitch. And I think the Arsenal team should be a bit more rigid, but I think Arteta needs to change his tactics. The possession-based tactics is too slow. The build-up is too slow. We need to get things up the foot quicker. Front passes. That's something I like about Emil Smith-Rowe. He looks to create chances in and around the defenders. He looks to score goals, create chances. It reminds me of Fabregas when Fabregas goes up ahead and he's forward. That's what Arsenal need. But the sideway passes that El Neni and Xhaka are always doing is something that now that Xhaka's gone and El Neni hopefully goes soon, you wouldn't see anymore. And Lokonga in preseason wasn't doing the sideway pass. He was actually making forward runs, looking for spaces, looking to split defense with his passes. And that's something I like. So 4-3-3 is something we should look up. Remember, 4-3-3 in defense when the other team's attacking is 4-5-1. So it's 4-3-3 in terms of attack. As soon as the other teams has the ball and we've got 11 players behind it looks 4-5-1. You understand?
Okay.
So 4-3-3 in attack, 4-5-1 because
He's not there.
I think he's there. Sorry, Coffee. Nats, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm fine. Sorry for the delay. What are your thoughts? And I mean, I just need your thoughts and whatever you want to say because it's a lot, to talk about with Arsenal.
Yeah, so I would like to see next season.
Yeah.
We need to big transfers, bring the quality players and sell a lot of. We don't have enough players, like William Bellerin, Kolasinac, and Lacazette, Xhaka. A lot of, and we need to sell them and let's bring quality players better than them next season. So I would like to see Madison, our and Lautaro Martinez in the striker, right back Max Aronis, goalkeeper Johnson for the West Brom, number two backup of Leno. So I would like to see for next season.
So not
if you get these players,
go ahead first.
Yeah, if we get these players, we can compare against big teams, top 4, at least top 4 or top 6. That would be better for me. For now, we don't have enough players. We don't have better players. That's not problem from Mikel Arteta. He's still good manager. I believe him. In the last 3 pre-season, they are playing very good. They were good chance. So only Aubameyang doesn't score. I don't know what's going on. Aubameyang is no good player. Maybe he will be better next season. But we need to sell a lot of players. Let's get better than from the players to quality. Already we signed Ben White. We need better like Madison. And Odegaard come back to sign for Arsenal this season. But I don't like Odegaard. I would like to choose Madison from Odegaard. Because Odegaard is still good player, but he can compare the club. I think Madison, he has a lot of assists and a lot of goals. I think for me, Madison is good player from Odegaard. So that's my opinion.
So far this season, also Coffee can answer it later. So far we've given Tierney a new contract. We've given Smith Rowe a new contract. Ben White will sign this month. Tavares has signed. We've always needed a backup left back and also Lokonga. So Nat, out of 10 this transfer window so far, what did you give it out of 10?
Yeah, at the moment we are very slow business. Still, we have almost 3 weeks to close this transfer window. We need 5 more players. Already we signed 3 players, but not good enough. We need goalkeeper, we need right back, we need number 10 position. We need the best partnership for Thomas Partey midfield. We need and sell Lacazette and replace for Lacazette. So we need to quickly, fast get quality players, and that will be better for me. If they don't get 5 more players, like at least 3 players, that's not good enough. At least we have to sign 2 quality players. Okay. But if they don't do that, the same thing last season. So we must to sign quality players. If Arteta should be good manager as a club, if Arteta should be good stay as a club, we need to help him quality players. And already we see the Man United and Chelsea. Chelsea will sign Haaland and Declan Rice. Already they talk about the defender Conde. And City they will sign Kane and Grealish. And Man United already they signed Varane and Sancho. So let's do it. Let's see about Arsenal get quality player like that. I want not to see. That's my dream.
Okay. Coffee. Just to meet Nathaniel for a minute. Coffee. I don't know what is.
Is he there?
Yeah. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah. I was asking.
Mhm.
There's something like feedback I don't understand. Do you feel it as well?
You were asking me what?
Yeah, I can hear it. Just try and mute everybody first and then ask the question.
Maybe. Okay. It's not. Okay. It's better. And I wanted. What did I want to say? I wanted to ask you guys, and it's just a simple question as we close the show. If we get the right kind of players, how much time do we give Mikel Arteta? Everyone on the show, you have a small time to answer this, and then we go to sleep. How much time do we give Mikel Arteta next season? How much time do you give him? Start with I'll start with Nat now.
Okay, I will start 7.
Yes.
So at least let's see. Wait, if he keep doing good, let's see Prompto until this last month, December. And if he's doing the same last season, we need to sack him. We don't
Until
need wait. Yes,
until December.
until December. And after that, if we don't see any change the tactic, we must to sack him. For
Okay.
my opinion.
All right. Coffee, how much time do you give to Mikel next season to deliver?
Next season I'll give him. Can you hear me? Can you
Yeah,
hear
very
me?
well. Yeah, very well.
Next season I'll give him around, say, the first 5 games. He needs to get at least 10 points. The first 5 games, because we need to get off to a good start. Normally, when you get off to a good start, you tend to have a good campaign. It lifts the high spirit. If he loses, I think Liverpool. I think, is it Liverpool, Man City? They're among the first 5 games, right?
Yeah.
If he loses those second and, I think Liverpool and Man City are second and third game. I'm not sure. I need to check that.
It's Brentford. It is Chelsea and City among the first 3 games.
Yeah, Chelsea and City. Now,
Yeah.
if he gets a draw against Brentford and then loses to Chelsea and Man City, then he's in big trouble. Very, very big trouble, because he's had a last season, a preseason, and he's had all of the players that he wanted. So he'll be in big trouble. I think that by Christmas we should be in the top 6 or challenging for a Europa spot. If not, he has to go.
Top 6 by December.
No, we should be challenging for a Europa League spot. So we should be in and around.
Okay.
Or if not, you have to sack him and bring someone else in.
Okay. Thank you so much, Coffee. This is Soski. How are you doing, Soski?
Yeah, I'm fine, Cossy. Good evening from here.
Good evening.
So I really appreciate what you're doing. You're trying a lot,
Yeah.
I've been watching your podcast, your program for some time now.
Yeah.
So today is the first time. So on Arsenal, the main issue is that Ateta and Edu are like, to me, in my own opinion, they are they are like, they place them on a tight corner. When I say tight corner, they place them on a tight corner because the owner of our club don't want to release his own personal money, But because the financial aspect of Arsenal Football Club is somehow shaking, because they have a lot of players. I won't call them deadwoods because I don't like using that word, because they are all players. I play football, so I know what you mean when you call a player a deadwood. It hurts so much. So I won't call them deadwoods, because it might not augur well with them in one particular club, and then go to another club and they bust it. So I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. There are some players which are under high wages and they are not performing, and two, and now for Arsenal to get to the level which me and you and everybody want to say, is that we have to move them. That is right. But moving them out is not that easy. And the main issue now is that the owners, Stan Kroenke, has made it compulsory for Edu and Eteta that they have to move them out for any money can be spent on the club. That is just what's only national transfer. If you watch now, we had like 2 players that came in, which is like Lukong Sami and the other guy, what's his name, that came in. But we need, for me, and I just need just 2 players, just 2, a central DM, and a right winger and defensive right winger. So those two are okay for me because if we are like we the fans, we need big names, big money. It is not done that way because when you bring these big names in and the player that are not, that's supposed to go out, it could not go out. Our financial strength will be dropping, and it will cause a lot of problem for everyone for the club. So now, when you don't need two players, a DM and two. So now, if you get these two players, I'm okay because DM Pate is not playing his game. He's not really playing his game because he's not a DM. Pate is not a DM. Xhaka is not a DM. They're just using both of them they are boss to boss players. So we need a DM, a very nice, strong quality DM, and a defend winger that can replace Bellerin or another player. But just those two players are okay. That's just my take. But for me to say that if how will I rate Ateta or what, how long, how if they will sack Ateta after some few couple of games, bro, that will not be possible.
Okay.
They won't sack Ateta because Ateta has a very long project at Arsenal Football Club now. If you watch a couple of players we have been linked with, they are all young guys from 18, 20, 22, 24.
All right. Thank you so much, Soki. We have an echo. We have an echo, Glenn. We're gonna close this, and I'll try to rectify that.
No problem, no problem. Good show. Thank
All
you
right.
for even coming on. We need
All
to
right.
do this more and more.
All right. Thanks everybody for watching in. We've streamed for 2 hours. Didn't know we could. We've streamed for 2 hours, and let me try to rectify the technical glitch, and I'll be back tomorrow. Make sure you do subscribe to Glenn's channel. It is Glenn Currently Everything Arsenal. Glenn, I think we'll do a show there tomorrow, shouldn't we?
No problem, no problem.
All right. Just tap me and I'll be very available. All right, guys. Good night.
Hey!